If you're a new OnlyFans creator or just a creator who's a bit less experienced, doing things right from the start is really, really important. If you're not doing things right from the beginning, you can lose motivation, lose traction, and ultimately it could be the difference between you making millions and you never actually making any real money. So let's go through the mistakes that I see heaps of new creators or smaller creators make so you can avoid them. To start us off, something that I see all the time. After all of my years in this industry, partnering with 60 plus creators, I don't think I've ever partnered with someone that was already doing this right. It makes the biggest difference. It's the first thing we change every single time. It's the same thing that took this creator from earning $700 a month to 17K in just 7 days. And that's selling a service, not an experience. So what do I mean by selling a service, not an experience? Well, a service is transactional. There's a price attached to your content, a fan comes on, they're here to spend money for that content, and it's no deeper than that. You're not building a connection, there's no relationship, there's nothing deeper than just the pure transaction of content for money. As opposed to having an experience where you can have the fan come on, enjoy speaking to you, get to know your personality, and enjoy being there, and then the content and the money is just a bonus. That's what you want to be aiming for. The main changes we've seen when selling an experience, not a service, is one, your brand representation. So you as an out-facing social media personality have a much better reputation with your fans because you treat them nicely and you build a connection, there's a relationship there, it's not as transactional. Two, your fans are having a better time. They're enjoying themselves more, they're happy with the experience and that kind of thing. Three, you get way less chargebacks. You have so many happier fans, which means they're not charging back, they're not angry at the end of the day, they don't regret what they did, so you don't get as many chargebacks. And four, you make so much more money because you can charge more for your content, but you can also sell more of it because the fans are happier, they want to buy more. So if you provide an experience, not a service, you have happier fans, a better brand, and you make more money. So 3 quick things that you can do to turn your account from a service to an experience. I'll go easiest to hardest. So the first one, being the easiest, is please just remove any of the tip menus. I'm so passionate about this, I could make a whole video on it. Please remove the tip menus. They make such a massive difference for the dynamic of your account. Because if a fan subscribes and they see on your feed that you've got all this promotional stuff saying, hey, I sell this for this and I sell this for this, it ruins the whole dynamic. It's like going to the shops and you're just ordering from, a food menu. And oh, can I get a meal deal with that? Can I get a combo for this? It ruins the whole dynamic. So not only are you ruining the chance of building a relationship and fostering big spenders that way, you're also price anchoring yourself. So anyone that had money and they were going to spend big money now knows, oh, she charges this much for this. I'm not even going to offer anymore. Because you never know. You could find a fan that you sell, a photo of your shoes for $500. But because on the feed, you've got these prices there, everyone knows that's what things cost. So they're not going to offer any more. And you don't have any negotiating power because they see what's on the feed. You just ruin that entirely for you. And my least favorite part about them is they look shit. They're ugly. They ruin the aesthetic of the page. Look, that's a personal opinion, but 99% of the time, they look terrible. They ruin the feed. So for those 3 reasons, please get rid of those. Okay, next one. Bios and captions. And look, I know it might seem like your bio or your captions won't make a huge difference for making money, but your bio could be the difference between a whale subscribing and spending 10 grand, and your captions could be the difference between 10 subscribers scrolling through your feed and deciding whether or not to talk to you that day, which means whether or not to be sold to. The bio for the page should feel human, so welcoming, genuine, normal to you and your brand. You see so many shit bios out there with tip menus, like I said, spamming emojis, saying crazy things that are just unnecessary, and these copyright disclaimers that literally do nothing. They just don't work. You want your bio to feel almost like an Instagram bio, but a little bit longer and a little bit spicier. So there should be a funny joke about you or a little thing about your personality or something to do with your brand. Only 2 to 3 lines long, nothing crazy, with maybe a slightly 25% spicy call to action. You don't want it to be overly sexual, but just a little bit. That's all you need. 2 to 3 lines, slightly sexual, small CTA. Simple as that. No spamming emojis, no tip menus, no, you can find this on my page, no copyright. It just doesn't work, it's unnecessary, and it could be the difference between scaring away a big spender. Captions are easy. Think about it like an Instagram caption, but same to the bio, 20 to 25% more spicy. You can have small CTAs here and there, but I wouldn't overly push there's a sale on this, or come buy this, or I'm charging this much for this, or whatever. Again, it ruins the dynamic of the chats with the fans because if they see you're selling this on sale to everyone or you're selling this content to everyone or do it, whatever, overly mentioning money can ruin a lot of relationships with the fans. You can do it here and there, but just keep it tame. For 99% of the time, just use it like a normal Instagram caption, but a little bit spicier. Now, the hardest part, but the most important part of making your account an experience and not a service is the chatting. It's simple as that. You just need to be providing an experience when directly talking to the fan. Now, me personally, I hate chatting, but luckily I don't run our chatting division. So I'm all good. But in your case, it's something you're just going to have to do because nothing happens without chatting. No money is made without chatting. So how can you provide an experience in the chats? Hey, just quickly, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, leave a like down below. It really helps me know what you guys want to see more of. And if you want to see more of what I'm doing already, consider subscribing. I'm putting out as much content as I can every single week to give you guys all the value as possible. Now, if there is certain things you want to see or don't want to see, leave a comment and let me know and I'll make sure to make changes. Cheers. So the first thing that you can do, which is quite simple, is just structuring your content in a way that feels taken in the moment or live. So every time a fan buys something, they feel like you've taken it then and there for them. A big part about interacting with fans and providing that experience is making them feel like they're talking to their girlfriend or a friends with benefits sort of thing. So you're both having fun, you're chatting, you're sharing things about each other, you're sharing content, and you're having a good time while obviously being sexual. But one thing a lot of people get wrong about providing this experience to the fans is thinking it's all about content. It's not. You can hold back from selling content. You want to be building that relationship anyway. You want to be having the conversations. You want to be getting to know them, finding out what they like, making them feel seen, making them feel understood and known. That is what make or breaks an experience for a fan. But don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean you have to hold back content from everyone. Sell to people if they want the content, but just do it in a way that feels like an experience, that feels organic, that feels like you're going back and forth with a friends with benefits. That's a good way to frame it. It's a bit better than a girlfriend. Friends with benefits is the best real way to be aiming to interact with your fans. So if you're going to do these things to turn your account from a service to an experience, it's going to take time and effort, but you're going to have happier fans, higher spending fans, and more recurring fans. But yeah, it's going to take more time. But with the bios and the captions and the things like tip menus, you can get rid of them and fix them straight away. And who knows, that could be the difference between 0 and 10 grand. But when you have these happier fans and these recurring higher spending fans, it can take us to our next point that you need to be doing. Charging more for your content. If you're doing the right things in the chats, building the connections, providing an experience, you can charge so much more for your content. And I mean like 5 times, 10 times, 15 times more. We've gotten to creators' accounts and started charging 50 times more for their content because they just were really undervaluing themselves. But for us, we always aim to charge the highest amount possible because we know we're providing the experience there to back it up. And the worst thing you can do is undercharge a potential high spender. But the tricky thing is not everyone can just go out and charge these crazy prices. If you charge $3 and put no effort into it, yeah, sure, some people will buy it. But if you put a lot of effort into it and you know what you're doing with the chats, then you can get so many sales. For example, let's say you send out a mass pay-per-view to 100 fans and it's a 10-minute video for $20. Sure, you might get 3 or 4, maybe even 10 people buy it. But if you put the time and effort into building a connection with 10 fans and you sell them all a 3-minute video for $200, how much you want to bet all of them buy it? But that's because you've put the time and effort into building that connection. You've listened to them. You've shown them that you care on a deeper level than just being transactional. So in their mind, you care more about them than you do about the price. So that makes them not care about the price and willing to spend. The harsh truth is that all these big creators and big OnlyFans influencers online have the ability to create low quality content and still succeed. And you don't have that luxury. As a small creator, you can't make what they make and expect to get the same results. It's just not possible. You don't have that fan base. But even that in itself is wrong. These big creators who look like they're putting in low effort to their content and it's not great pieces of content, nothing special, they've studied, they've worked really hard, they've made thousands of pieces of content and they know what works with their audience. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, but that's not the point. The point is copying other people's content in 2025 when social media is so competitive will never work, especially for a small creator who doesn't have a brand, doesn't have any kind of fame, doesn't have any name behind you. You need to be doing something to stand out, and copying all the other creators and just making the only variable, the only difference, your physical features, isn't enough. You can't stand out just using that. You need to be creating content that's unique and special to you. It's the only way to stand out in 2025. Like I said, you're fighting for eyes on social media. And if you're creating the same content as everyone else, you're all competing for the same audience, for one audience. But if you create content with originality, personality, authenticity, stuff that's unique about you, you will create your own market, your own audience, an audience that's die-hard, high spending just for you. But look, I understand, it's difficult for a lot of creators, and not just creators. It's really hard to focus on stuff like this for anyone in any industry, which leads me on to my next point, which is shiny object syndrome. Shiny object syndrome is being in a constant loop of what's the next best thing. So seeing someone else that's doing really well and thinking, oh, I want to try what they're doing, or some new thing comes out and you're like, oh, that's shiny and new, I want to try that. As opposed to actually sticking to the method you started with and seeing if it works before quitting. Because if you don't put enough time and effort into something, you don't know if it works. And if you're jumping ship 24/7, nothing works. And look, I get it. Shiny object syndrome gets to everyone. It gets to me. I always see things that are new and shiny and other people are being successful with and think maybe I should try that. But no, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And with OnlyFans and social media especially, if you're getting shiny object syndrome and changing a strategy around and never sticking to one and being consistent, it will ruin your growth. But look, it's so common. Things like shiny object syndrome and stuff like that is so common in the industry. And it leads me to my next point about things that new creators and inexperienced creators struggle with is mindset. So many creators are struggling with the mindset. I would say the mindset factor is limiting 90% of creators in the industry, but they don't know it. And you can't blame anyone for it because it's all about the stigma around OnlyFans. Everyone's saying, oh, OnlyFans is heaps easy. It's just not true. And having that mindset for all of these new creators coming into the scene ruins their trajectory. And of course, there is an element of truth to it. OnlyFans isn't as easy as fucking coal mining or something. But what I mean by it isn't easy is it's not as easy as everyone thinks it is. There's so much work that goes into it to actually succeed. All these huge creators are doing so much work than it looks. Having the mindset that you can just do the bare minimum and succeed on OnlyFans is limiting your growth. And yeah, I know, it's hard because you see people that they know a famous person or they have some kind of connection and all of a sudden their OnlyFans blows up. But if that's not you, you need to just abandon that idea. Abandon the mindset of, oh, well, they did it, so I can. It's different for everyone. And if you remove that mindset and start thinking, okay, I need to work hard to grow my business, you will put yourself ahead of every single creator. And that's the mindset you want to have, growing your business. Growing a business takes hard work and dedication. And if you can put that hard work and dedication into your OnlyFans, I promise you, you'll succeed far better than 99% of creators. To grow a business, you need to sacrifice, you need to learn, you need to put hours in, and you need to be willing to fail and not give up and keep pushing through. If you can turn that mindset from OnlyFans is just a quick, easy way to make money to I want to grow my OnlyFans like growing a business, I promise you, you will make so much money.